2 reasons why do vegans live longer. On average, vegans and vegetarians live longer. They have longer life expectancies than meat eaters, and grow old with fewer health issues. But why do vegans live longer? Before we get into the science and evidence about plant-based diets, there's one important point to make. There are healthy meat eaters, and there are unhealthy meat eaters. Just as there are healthy and unhealthy vegans. But on average, vegans and vegetarians do live longer. They have lower mortality rates than meat eaters, and grow old with fewer health issues. For example, those on a plant-based diet tend to have healthier gut profiles, reduced abundance of pathogenic gut bacteria and greater abundance of protective species, lower blood pressure, lower incidence of heart disease, lower overall cancer incidence, lower risk of developing diabetes. That's a pretty impressive list of diseases you can be protected against by adopting a plant-based diet, and it includes 2 of the top killers in Western countries, heart disease and cancer. The reasons why plant-based diets can be so protective can be broken down into 2 main categories. 1. Vegans and vegetarians don't eat meat. Yes, this is stating the extremely obvious, but this is of course the main difference between meat eaters and those on a plant-based diet. And it's an important difference because processed meats like hams, sausages, salamis, bacon, smoked and canned meat are Class 1 carcinogens, the same classification as tobacco smoking, asbestos, and radioactive barium. All meat, including white meat like chicken, contain high levels of saturated fat and cholesterol, which is associated with cardiovascular risk. Dairy and eggs are also high in saturated fat, so vegans benefit even more from these effects. Processed meat has been classified as a Class 1 carcinogen, cancer-causing, by the World Health Organization. This means the evidence is just as strong as it is with smoking and asbestos, both also Class 1 carcinogens. It's also classified all red meat, beef, lamb, pork, goat etc., as Class 2 carcinogens, meaning they are probably cancer-causing. Meat and dairy contain hormones and antibiotics, given to livestock to increase rates of weight gain and feed efficiency, and these can impact human health in a number of ways. 2. Vegans and vegetarians tend to eat more healthy foods. This is almost by default. If you don't eat meat, you tend to replace those calories with more vegetables, fruits, grains, pulses, beans, nuts and seeds. It may also be that vegetarians and vegans pay more attention to their health. Of course, it isn't always the case. Some vegans live on junk food, but on average, consumption of these nutritious, whole plant foods tends to be higher. And this comes with a vast array of health benefits. Fruit and vegetables contain protective bioactive compounds such as antioxidants, polyphenols, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, which work through numerous complex mechanisms to reduce antioxidant stress, lower blood levels of VLDL and LDL cholesterol, the bad types, and help to maintain a healthy weight. So it's no surprise that higher consumption has been associated with reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, lower risk of developing several cancers, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, and lower risk of becoming overweight. In fact, higher intake of fruit and vegetables is associated with a reduced overall mortality risk by any cause. Whole grains are also rich in phytochemicals, antioxidants, vitamins, trace minerals, fiber, and protein. In fact, because they're so nutritious, increased intake of whole grains is associated with lower blood pressure, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, reduced risk of some cancers, reduced risk of developing diabetes, and having a lower body weight. Consuming your protein from plant-based sources such as beans, legumes, pulses, and soy can actually lower VLDL and LDL cholesterol by specific mechanisms, as well as by displacing meat consumption. So while a high protein intake from animal sources increases cancer death risk and diabetes mortality, replacing it with plant-based protein sources eliminates these risks. Nuts and seeds pack an impressive variety of vitamins and minerals, and are a great source of protein and fiber. High nut consumption has been shown to lower total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, and is associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease and cancer mortality. So, by avoiding meat and instead replacing animal foods with more whole plant foods, it's possible to improve your health in a huge variety of ways, as well as the obvious benefits to the environment and animal welfare issues. Of course, you hear the occasional story about someone who tried a vegan diet and didn't feel great, or of an avid meat eater who would steak for lunch every day and live to a ripe old age. Everyone is different and has different experiences, lifestyles, and genetics. But the growing body of high-quality scientific evidence of the health benefits of a plant-based diet as well as reports of so many vegan athletes surpassing their competitors, is a pretty compelling reason to at least give a plant-based diet a go. Thanks for watching.